Welcome to today's episode of knowledge and understanding of proper techniques and equipment for bows and guns.
First off, we'll start with the guns. Today here we have a wide variety of guns. We have to start as your basic 22.
It's a Ruger 1022 model with the Alpen 3x9 scope. It's semi-automatic, and it has the capacity to shoot 10-shot and 25-shot clips, and the round can go about 1.5 miles, so it's very important that you stay safe with those because they can travel quite far.
Next here we have the standard Super Black Eagle 2 12-gauge shotgun. This one's used a lot more primarily for duck hunting, bird hunting, and you can use it for deer hunting if you have the proper barrels. That one, shells don't travel as far, but they have more BBs, which make them just as dangerous. So you always want to make sure where you're pointing the gun when it's loaded and unloaded. And lastly, for guns, we have your standard AK-47, which is right here. This takes a 7.62 by 39 millimeter shell. It has the capacity for 25 rounds in a nice clip here, and it's a very high-powered rifle and can do some serious damage, so you have to be extra careful with that one.
And we just have some rounds here to show you. This is a 270 round Winchester, and this is typically your deer hunting rifle round. Very, very dangerous if you use it in the wrong circumstances. This is the 7.62 round, which we'll be using for the AK-47. And our 12 gauge shell, which is going to be our 3.5-inch 6s, which is typically what you'd use for doves or any smaller type of bird. And then our 22 shell, which is very small, but also, as we stated before, can travel quite a distance. This is actually a hollow point, so this is going to cause more damage to your prey.
When you're shooting guns, a big portion that you want to cover is always want to have ear protection, even when you're hunting, and eye protection, because ricochets happen, stuff flies up, get in your eye. And guns are very loud, and you're going to hurt your eardrums, and that's going to cause permanent damage, so you always want to have that protection on so you safely can shoot.
And we'll show you more about safety when we go into actually firing the weapon. So this is going to be the bow section of our episode, and I'm shooting a Matthews Conquest Apex 7 gold and black. I'm using Bee Stinger stabilizers both for the front and back bar. And what that's actually going to do is help stabilize the bow so it doesn't move when I'm firing. This back bar will help it from not turning any backwards or forwards. I'm using a trophy taker rest, which is also called a launcher, which is going to help make my arrow fly straight and true. Using an Axel sight, and this is also going to make it much more accurate. I also have a sight tape on here so that when I'm shooting at different yardages I can move my sight and still stay accurate. Altogether, this bow is what I use for competitions, such as like shooting from under 20 yards to over 70 yards. This is also, one of my opinions, this is a very good shooting bow, and from what I've noticed, it shoots very well for me. And we'll move on to the carp shooting bow, and this is actually Nick's bow. It's a PSC Wave. It is like I said before, carp shooting bow, you would load it right here, and has a reel on it, so after you shoot you can retrieve your arrow. And when shooting carp, you're going to want to aim below them so that when you fire, because of the reflection of the water, you can hit accurately. And for carp, you want to use a specific fiberglass arrow with a fish point. This fish point, when it punches through the fish, it will actually stop the arrow from going back out of it. And when you are done, you will loosen up this point right here on top, and it will turn these barbs around, and you can flip the fish right off. And this slider right here will be tied onto the string, which will then, with a slide, will make the arrow not kick any direction. It will go straight. And then I just also have one more thing to show you. These are the arrows I would be using for competitions. These are a Gold Tip Pro Series 22 Ultralight, and I'm using VaneTech high-profile vanes and pin knocks. These arrows can be more expensive, but they are straight, and they will also be better for competitions such as shooting at such distances as 20 to 70 yards.
We have the standard AK-47 here. First off, teach you how to shoot. First thing when you grab a gun is you always want to make sure it's empty. You can do this by pulling the action back and checking to make sure there's nothing in the barrel. Next, you want to make sure the gun's on safe. And while you're doing this, always have the gun pointed in a safe direction, like downrange. When you're ready to shoot, you can put your clip in, which we have right here. Make sure you seat it all the way into the gun. When it's in, it's good. Then you can pull the action back and let her fly forward. When you make sure you have to close it all the way, then you're ready to shoot. Never keep your finger on the trigger until you're ready to shoot. It's a big portion because you don't want to accidentally fire. When you're ready to shoot, you want to put the gun right up on your shoulder after you put your ears on. And then you want to put the gun on your shoulder. Take the safety off and just slowly squeeze the trigger when you're on the target. And that's how you shoot the AK-47.
Alright, I'm Joe Price, and I'm an expert with this 22. Alright, so today we are using a Ruger Model 1022. We'll be using a 10-shot clip with Remington Thunderbolt 22s. So basically take a 10-shot clip, just want to slip it right in there. It'll click when it's all good. Make sure your safety is on. Pull back the hammer, let one fly in there, and then as we previously stated, put your ear protection on. And when you are ready, you're going to want to use a lower power scope because we're not shooting very far. But so now when you're ready, you can flip the safety off, put it to your shoulder, and squeeze off the shot.
For shotguns here, we don't shoot still targets like you do with the rifle. You shoot more what are called clay pigeons. These targets you put into a thrower, and they fly through the air and makes it a lot harder to hit. But with the shotguns having multiple BBs, it's a lot easier to obtain the kill. So with these, when you're going to have a puller and the shooter, when shooter's ready to shoot, he tells the puller to pull, and he'll throw the bird down range, and then the shooter will shoot. When aiming at this, you want to shoulder it just like a rifle, and you just want to follow it, and when it reaches its peak, you want to just yank the trigger and pull, and the clay will bust.
Ready?
Pull.
Alright, so here we are doing the archery portion of the lesson, and I'm shooting my ultralight 22, which is by Gold Tip, and my Matthews Apex 7. And proper way to load the bow is just to make sure that your cock feather is always, but when you're shooting release, it's going to be pointing up, fingers pointing towards you when you're at full draw. And the release, you want to make sure it's clipped on all the way. I'm using a True Ball Center X. And then make sure it's on the launcher. Pull back. Never with the release to your chest to make sure it doesn't, if it misfires, hit you in the face. Corner in the anchor at the corner of your mouth. Aim. Squeeze. Execute.
So those are the skills that you guys need to be safe, have fun, and have good memories when you guys go out hunting or just shooting with your weapons.
And make sure you get all this equipment at a reputable dealer and a dealer you trust.
Remember, be safe and have fun.